What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And you know what? I am so excited. I am really, really excited because I've had a little bit of a challenging week. I'm just going to be honest with everybody. And I always believe that the universe works in great ways. And I'm so blessed, and I feel that everyone who's watching this live or on the replay is going to be so blessed by this conversation. I am really happy to have Dr. Alicia Watkins back because she's got a lot going on. She's got her life. She's got her husband's life, Dr. Boyce Watkins' life going on. She's got her family life. She's got her professional life. She just got life. She just got life going on. So for those who have not met her before, let me give the real deal bio on Dr. Alicia. She's a full professor of social work and a licensed clinical therapist. She's also the co-founder of Coaching with Dr. Alicia, LLC, as a certified couples coach focusing on providing evidence-based skills to couples who wish to get married, improve their communication skills, and foster healthy relationships. Yes, I'm going to read the whole bio because she deserves it and you need to know. So it's my show. I'm reading her bio. You ain't going to shake my tree on this. As a mother of 3 children, Dr. Alicia wishes to use her own life experiences related to love, marriage, community building, self-exploration, and commitment to respectful living to inspire couples to become stronger together. She also works as a part-time therapist at Alliance Counselling and Coaching, where she helps individuals, couples, and families heal from past issues that hinder current functioning. She's been a licensed therapist for 17 years and considers her work to be her lifelong passion. As a full-time professor of social work at the University of St. Francis, Dr. Alicia enjoys training adult learners on techniques to become professional social workers. Maybe I need to apply. She teaches courses on cultural competency, advanced research, field education, and social work practice. She obtained her master's degree in social work from the University of Chicago in 2000 and earned her doctoral degree in social work from the Florida State University, the home of the Seminoles. In 2008, she's published 10 professional articles and has presented at over 20 professional social work conferences. And we're going to have a really good session tonight because we planned this a while back because it's the last day of Black History Month, the last day. Today, we're going to be chatting about Black women, Black history, Black women, Black future. So please welcome Dr. Alicia. How are you?
I am really great. I feel I didn't have a hard week actually. It was pretty busy, but it wasn't definitely hard for me. And by the way, this is a great day to do this talk because to talk about Black women today, this is the last day of Black History Month. Tomorrow is the first day of Women's History Month. So
there you go.
This is it. We're bridging, making bridges.
Love it.
Intersectionality between race and gender.
You got it all. So what's been going on since we last chatted?
Oh my gosh. Just trugging along here. That's really what's been going on. You know, you juggle a lot of hats. So I'm just juggling, keeping things up afloat in the air.
But since the last time you've been on, you actually went to a retreat.
Oh my God, my spiritual retreat. I have to
Yes.
do one. And it's weird because normally I do it in between semesters. But this time I did it right when, the beginning of the semester. So that was unusual for me. But yeah, I gotta do these retreats. And it's my time for self-care. And you have to take time out for that. And it's a plant medicine retreat.
Oh.
So you drink this little tea and that's all I can say about that. But
okay.
Because you have a direct contact, and through the meditation and the music and the ceremony, it's you have a conversation with yourself, your subconscious.
No, I watch you and Dr. Boyce a lot, and I have always been curious to ask the health, your attention to your health, what you're eating, your
Mm-hmm.
exercising. How did that come about, and how long has that been part of your daily walk?
It keeps me balanced, it keeps me centered, it keeps me feeling good, in a good mood. I feel awful when I haven't exercised. I feel awful when I don't eat right. I don't get it right. Like, I don't listen. This is my second marriage, so clearly I haven't gotten something right. And so I always want to strive, and I always want to try to figure out what to do. I did do a 21-day detox leading up
Wow.
to this retreat, and I just put myself in these situations to make myself better. And I feel like there's just more for me to do, and I feel like I really do feel like this is my purpose. Like, when you were reading my bio, it's very humbling to read my bio, but I think about all the experiences I've been through: University of Chicago, Florida State, my home institution. All of these places is always presenting challenges to me and things that I have to overcome. But once I get on the other side of things, I'm not a victim. I'm a
Mm.
survivor. I'm a hero in my story.
You know what? I love that. I'm a
Uh-huh.
hero in my story.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to use that.
That's what I have to live by, and most Black women live by that. By the way, we
Yeah.
are. It's so funny because students are doing. I do teach advanced research this semester. It's the capstone, and students are presenting and everything, and they're researching a lot of this. What gets people through, and what helps people, and so it is a very difficult class to overcome, and so I'm telling the students, you can get it. You can get through this. So it's really kind of nice.
Nice. Well, if anyone's watching live, especially, please feel free to ask questions, interject. One of the family, Love More Share McLaughlin, says greetings. So thank you for
Yes, Love
stopping by.
More. I love that. What a great name. We all need
And
to change our name to Love More.
and let me tell you, she is all about love.
Yes.
When she talks, you feel the love from her heart.
You know what? That's womanhood. That's Black womanhood.
I ain't disagreeing. You're in charge. You're in charge. You're saying it like it is. Let me just okay. Also, we have another friend of the family. Let me just get it right. Yeah, LA Wade Media. Hi there. Love to see you both. And she agrees, saying that that's Black womanhood.
Yes,
Yes.
that's who we are. And when we get away from that, then we're getting away from who we are.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
Feel like I'm in class with Dr. Alicia. That's a class I wouldn't skip. There's some other ones I'd like to skip, but I'm glad I'm not skipping this class tonight. So we're talking about Black women, Black history, and then Black women, Black future. And Dr. Alicia was so kind to share a document that she wants to go through. Family, get ready. I just gonna say, get ready. When I saw this today, I said one word: fire.
Did you really?
I no, I felt like it's an incredible document that I'm gonna suggest that you take and use as a lecture piece wherever you want to go.
Okay. Okay. I can
No,
I can talk about this.
no, I'm no, I'm it, and it's something that Black men, Black women,
Mhm,
and those who
mhm,
are not Black
mhm,
need to. This is huge. Like, if you get to watch this either live, especially live, and interject on it, you're getting a
mhm.
real treat. Because I sat for half an hour and went through this doc and said, "Wow, wow, like this is fire." So let me ask before we get into your document. When I gave this subject to you, was it something saying yes, or was it, obviously we're talking about it now? What did you think when I presented this conversation topic to you?
I love any opportunity to talk about Black women. I can talk about that all day because I'm a Black woman. So I feel like, oh, he's gave me the right topic, and I do speak about a lot of these things in my program, right? So my master's program, we talk about feminism, and and it's a taboo word, and it should be a taboo word given the history. So absolutely, yes, I
All
love this
right.
topic.
All right. So if you're watching live, even on the replay, but especially if you're watching live, you getting a real treat and you can interact with Dr. Alicia in real time. So I'm going to put the document up and we're just going to just flow with it.
We
So
can
the
flow
first
through,
thing
and of course, you can flow through. You can go through. If you have questions, you can ask
I
me
I, I
questions.
absolutely have questions on it, but you start off with the great mother, the sacred feminine. Break
Yes.
that down for us.
Well, it came out of, first of all, I'm obsessed with African spirituality. Like, I spend a lot of my time, and I'm talking about from a mythological standpoint, from antiquity standpoint, from the birth of all human beings that come from the Black mother. And the Great Mother is something astrological because it's related to the North Pole
Wow.
and related to like just all of these symbols in our creation history comes from that. So the Great Mother is the sacred feminine, and it's where our creation has come from. And so it stands for divine love and wisdom. That's who we are. So in that, it's part of the Great Mother, which is motherhood. And if you think about it, it's central to African philosophy and its principles, which really includes, yeah, you think you are a female, but you're really not a woman until you become a mother, because motherhood
Ooh.
was always central in African thought and African philosophy. And to be a mother means you have to bear children, you have to nurture children. So being a mother, the Great Mother, is this sacred feminine that is in the creation of anything. And it's also resistance toward anything that would destroy life. So it's giving nurturing and support of life. That's what the Sacred Mother is about. And if you think about it, it's philosophically, all of us can be part of this great motherhood because we can nurture our thoughts and ideas. I mean, to come up with the Dr. Vibe show, you had to get in contact with your feminine self. All men have a feminine side, because
Okay.
to create anything, you have to get in touch with this feminine principle. So it's bigger than just gender. You know what I mean? It's a symbol of who and what we are. In the Afrocentric perspective of motherhood and feminism, because the sacred feminine, think about the word feminism comes from this sacred feminine, feminism, sacred feminine, right? So it celebrates family, it celebrates the family unit, prosperity, emotional connection, so that we can live harmoniously. And that's how we were. That's how we used to live. The original people, we used to live in a way where things were harmonious. The feminine was balanced by the masculine. You balanced each other out. That's what life was about.
Okay. I've got questions already. Now, the
Uh-huh.
questions are already coming. So, LA Wade Media says, do you think the feminine side is out of balance in men?
Yeah, it's out of balance in men. And in it's out of balance in all of us. A lot of us, it's very difficult to keep this harmonious nature within ourselves. Sometimes, gosh, sometimes I have to pick up heavy items and move things and break things down. I mean, that's for another discussion, to talk about what the masculine is about. Masculine is about tearing things down, right? Destroying things. In a way, in order for something new to happen, you have to destroy something. So destroying things isn't necessarily a terrible thing, right? They have to be balanced. And I think historically, if you want to talk about historically, isn't that what happened to us? I mean, there was this balance. And white men came and invaded and disrupted everything that was feminine, because to be feminine means to nurture, to support, to develop life. um, Being a mother is sacred, and it was always seen as something sacred. And what happened? Violence happened. You know, violent invaders came and they changed the status of women, and they made everything kind of out of balance. They came in with their guns and their Bibles, and they destroyed things. I mean, think about historical. We have colonialism, we have imperialism, we have slavery, we have apartheid. All of these systems put what used to be a feminine centered society, one that was disrupted by invaders. And it changed the status of women. Women were just less than. And I'm sorry, feminism in my household is a toxic word.
Wow. Okay.
Because, I mean, just to, where it used to be something beautiful, it's turned into something terrible, because a lot of white women have taken feminism and made it into something that was extremely toxic and definitely didn't restore the balance. So true feminist, the sacred feminine, really is about restoring that balance back to this harmonious place. So, and it's just interesting because this picture of this doll here, do you know what that's, a Shanti doll?
I've heard of it, but I don't know the meaning. So please educate us.
Yeah, it's a doll that was given to newborn girls, to children, to girls. It's a sign of that femininity, and it's a sign of beauty, and it stands for harmony and peace. I do remember that. And so it's all encoded in the, if you look, it's all encoded in the way that doll was put together. I mean, look how big that head is.
Yes.
That head represents the female egg that's received,
Okay.
right? And the shoulders are standing across. And if you look at it creates a cross, right? So it's
Yes. Yes.
interpreted as a symbol of strength. It's the backbone. And I think for a lot of communities, our communities, Black women are the backbone of a lot of different communities. And if you look at the legs are nice and strong and stable, and that represents unwavering support. So Black
Wow.
women are the unwavering support of the Black community. It's the womb of creation. It represents all of the feminine principles: love, wisdom, goddess of creation. And in the other symbol is that this is the original symbol. That's actually the Ashanti doll. It looks like an ankh, right? It kind of looks like an ankh. And it is the oldest symbol ever known to man. And it's replicated in all different indigenous um, cultures. It's
Wow.
replicated. Yeah.
I'm gonna say we may need to do a part two of this because the questions are flying in because you're
Okay.
dropping knowledge bombs. You're no like, and that's a good thing. Uh, I have one or two questions, but I always let the audience first. LA Way Media is giving good stuff here. She goes, in a world that appears as quote everyone for themselves unquote, what are some strategies to stay our feminine and survive? And she adds, and feel protected.
Yeah, I love that, because Black women have never been protected. If you think about it, I mean, Black women are responsible for the family, typically child care, older adults, but we are disproportionately victims of male violence. We are more likely to live in poverty. 80% of single parent family households, we haven't been protected. Not only we're discriminated in the workforce, we're more adversely the results of cutbacks and layoffs and all of this. So it really is, we haven't been protected. And there's a lot of reasons why we haven't, but we haven't come from that protection. And I mean, that's kind of like the birth of Black women in America. I mean, that Black female slave experience echoes that. It's like we've always been the brunt of abuse. American slavery system demoralized the Black woman. You had to get, your children were sold away. You were beaten. To be a slave mother, it just means to not be respected at all. You were seen as a breeder to contribute and maintain the economy. Even on slave ships, Black women got the worst on the slave ships because a lot of the Black men were shackled in the basement, in the bottom of the ship, but a lot of Black women were allowed to kind of walk around freely, but they were raped, they were abused. And then when you got to America, they looked at you as, okay, we're going to breed you, so you were subjected to rape. By the time Black women during slavery times, by the time you were 13 years old, you were automatically raped by white men. I mean, and white women would blame you for it and say it's your fault for doing it. Because what are they going to do? Their husbands are raping these Black women. What are they going to say? They rationalize it in their mind to say this slave deserved it, somehow deserved it because she's immoral. And floggings, they would strip you down naked and flog you, and beat you. I mean, it was just awful, awful ways to socialize you to live on this plantation. Black women labored everywhere alongside Black men. They were nurses, cooks, seamstress, washerwomen, very demanding and stressful environment. So no, never was protected, never was allowed to be protected, and really got treated, I think, horrendously. So I mean, that is a wonderful thing, and I think that a lot of Black women are calling on Black men to come to us, to come to us and love us and understand us. There's so much hatred going on toward Black women, and it's so interesting because my husband, he sends me these video clips of very divisive things, and it's very emotionally charged. I see no compassion for a lot of Black women. And so that's something that, I talk to a lot of my couples about, and I talk to women about. Women internalize some of this stuff and feel like they deserve it. I mean, it's just really, it's really a terrible thing. And it all comes back from slavery, and not even before slavery, just being invaded in Africa, that invasion process of being kidnapped from your hometown. It just left everything out of balance in terms of the feminine, the sacred feminine. Femininity was no longer sacred.
Wow. Dr. Alicia, wow. Wow. I can continue on to the next slide, or there's another question. Can. So it's your choice. There's another question, or do you want to get to the next slide?
It's up to you.
Okay, well, Mike, I know you like the audience interaction, so I like to keep it flowing. Yeah. So LA Wade Media has another question saying, so where's the incentive to stay in the feminine outside of personal balance?
The incentives to stay in the feminine. Yeah. I think when you feel protected and you feel safe and secure, you can get into your feminine self. Okay. When you're comfortable and you're relaxed and you don't have to worry about violence, I'm gonna tell you, and I think it's getting into this the feminist movement, and Black women have always been concerned with the level of violence that's happening in our communities. I live in a nice, squeaky, white suburbs, but my soul is tied to these Black communities. I'm from Gary, Indiana. Yep. I'm born in Tuskegee. My soul is tied to these areas. So every time there's something happening, there's a killing or a murder or a police shooting, I'm always concerned about the injustice of Black boys and Black men. I'm always concerned about that. And, that's the feminine part of me, is wanting to protect this. And that's always been a theme with Black women, and why we were so attracted to the feminist movement in the first place. We were saying we got to restore this balance. So I think that once we feel like not only we are protected, but our children are protected, Then we can get into, we don't have to worry about it and stress out about it. And then we can get into wanting to show our feminine, um, because we're not afraid anymore. We're not afraid to send our kids out the house and not have to worry about whether they're going to come back safe. Safety is an issue.
Okay. Let's move on to our second slide finally,
Yeah,
but that was a great starting off.
yeah,
So
because
next you
the
want to
second, yeah, go ahead.
so you have the second wave.
Well, the
Well,
second
not the
started
second.
that
Well, no.
first.
Okay. So the first wave, black women in feminism.
Yes, because that is a perfect example. Because what was happening right now was slavery. The abolishment of slavery, it all started with the abolishment of slavery and trying to have, equal rights, trying to have right as a person. And a lot of Black women were part of this whole abolitionist movement. But out of this abolitionist movement, we were trying to get rid of the racism. This when white women came around and said, no, this feminism was birthed. The first wave of the feminist movement was birthed out of abolitionism. Okay. And again, it's the disconnect between what Black women were saying, listen, our children are being lynched, our children are being killed, and our families are being torn apart. Ain't I a woman? And so if you look at that picture, that's Sojourner Truth. And Mary Church Terrell, Sojourner Truth gave the very famous speech, Ain't I a Woman, at the Seneca Falls, um, which is like it was a women's rights rally where Black women were saying we can get on board together, we can work together. They thought that white women would listen to them and have empathy for them, and they haven't, right? And history shows that they haven't. But Mary Church Terrell, she was the first woman, I think, to receive a college degree, and so she used her status as a college educated woman to try to convince people, say, listen, we have to work to pass the 19th Amendment at the Seneca Falls, and we also need to try to improve the conditions of the Black family. And that's what a lot of the Black women were really pleading with America to do. And we all know history tells us it had little impact on improving social conditions for Black people. Those white women, they got their right to vote, and they voted lock and step with their white husbands. So, out of that first wave of feminism was not a pretty picture for a lot of them. So, that's just how it was. That's how what history tells us.
Okay.
Um,
Let's
Again,
move.
not being protected. And then the second wave, is that Fannie Lou Hamer? Yes. The second wave is Fannie Lou Hamer. And it was, of course, the civil rights movement. And the second wave of feminism was birthed out of the civil rights movement. So again, trying to look for racial equity, comes white women saying, well, hold on, wait a minute, I want my right too. Women's movement emerged out of the civil rights movement, where the first wave, a right to vote, was birthed out of abolishing slavery. And so, but again, it was the disconnect because a lot of Black women, again, they were concerned about lynchings. They were concerned about all of the things happening in the South. And they were also wanting some of the privileges of being, a married woman. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. So it was just really interesting because a lot of white women were saying, no, we want to enter into the workforce. We want to have these rights. But a lot of Black women were like, no, I want to be a stay-home mom so I can take care of my children. But I want my husband to be able to go to work and make enough money to pay for everybody. So it was, again, this disconnect. And Fannie Lou Hamer, of course, she spoke about a lot that was happening with the civil rights. And she, I think that's a picture of her on television in 1964. And President Johnson, believe it or not, held a press conference at the same time that she gave this famous speech. And he held a press conference. So she got no coverage for what she was trying to do. And she was, of course, trying to restore peace and harmony and balance and to bring people together to fight oppression.
Wow.
And social justice.
All right, let's move.
So there we
So
have it.
now Okay, now the real fun begins.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it these stereotypes for Black women, it's rooted in history, right? Because um, and there's four stereotypes of Black women, and believe it or not, every Black woman in Hollywood has to represent at some point in their life, has to represent some point of their career, have to represent one or several of these stereotypes.
Wow.
And you see an example, the first stereotypes of Black women. Remember, this came out of Black women being raped. They were raped back in slavery, and the idea was you were scantily dressed, so you deserved it. You shouldn't have been walking around half dressed, or my husband wouldn't have raped you. It's victim blaming, and all of that. And so out of that was saying, well, she must be a whore. And that came the whore stereotype. Black women are immoral, you know, and they deserved what they got, right? They were raped and they were blamed and victimized for being raped. And so this stereotype is pushing through. Look at Tiffany Haddish sitting there with her tongue sticking out. Every role she plays, she on some level is, many times playing the whore stereotype. And we see it in our music, we see it in all of our media. We see one of the four stereotypes of Black women that does nothing but demoralize us. We're not seen for who we are, by the way. We're seen for what the media wants to show us to look like. And part of that is that whore stereotype. Hypersexual. I don't care about anything. I just want to be pleasured in this way, and I have no feelings. There's no love there. It's just I deserve to be sexually victimized. And that's what we see. Another stereotype. Which one's next? Oh, the mammy stereotype. Nobody is the biggest mammy more than Oprah Winfrey at this point.
Whoa!
I will say one thing. She's done a beautiful job for her media, but she represents the mammy stereotype.
Okay, why do you say that?
Because that's the role she plays. That talk show, she was nothing but a mammy. All the times on that talk show, she sat there and hugged and kissed up on those white women. On some level, on a bunch of different levels, she played the mammy stereotype. She was overweight. She asexual. She's never been married. She ain't having no kids. She represents, and she's got rewarded for that. I'm not taking anything away from her because I think that she's done a tremendous job, but she did it through this mammy stereotype. And we see it in movies, we see it in media. So she's the ultimate ancient mama. Ancient mama stereotype is you're cooking, you're kind, you're nice, you always have a smile on your face, you don't want nothing from nobody. You want to try to love up fragile white women, build them up. We see it in movies all the time. Who else? Regina King. As much as we love her, a lot of her movies, she played the Black sidekick, supporting and helping the white female lead. Those were the movies that you played, that you saw Black women in. I'm talking about media. Okay? I'm talking about the stereotypes. This is what we see. And it's demoralizing to us because, again, we're not seen for who and what we are. We're seen as this caricature, H.M. Mama caricature. Think about what happened just recently. There was who was the guy that made the comment?
Oh yeah, Dr. Boyce was. What's the gentleman, the comedian's name? He did a video about it yesterday. Oh, I can't remember the comedian's name.
Whatever it is, in his mind, he can't fathom. This is what his stereotype has told him, that Black women need to be on a bottle of a syrup.
Ben Stein. Ben Stein.
Come on. He's trying to keep Black women in this stereotype, this pigeonhole. We're more than this, right? Asexual, overweight. These are the stereotypes that get promoted in media and led by Oprah Winfrey. And now you have, who are these other women here? They've taken her place.
Okay.
The help, the butler.
I have a question for you. How much of these stereotypes have some blacks taken on and accepted?
They have to, because that's where the money is. They're victims in this too. They got to make it in this world that wasn't built by us. It's imbalanced. There's no harmony there. It's a survival mechanism. Yes, I'll play the whore. Yes, I'll play the mammy. Pay me.
And then how
We're
much
not in
then?
control of our media.
That's well, that's a definite. You're reading my mind on this, but LA Wade has a question here saying, how do we create a new possibility outside of these four stereotypes? Can we list some examples?
We need to take back our media. But I don't know, it's an uphill battle because that's where all the resources are. The resources are networks, and it's a system. It's a system of racism and white supremacy. It's a system in which we live in. And Hollywood is a system. Media is a system. Having the outlets is a system. We all have to come. I really love, and that's what made me so attracted to what Boyce is doing. You know, it's creating all of these sort of networks. He's got all these followers. Ain't nobody sponsoring him. Hats off to you, Dr. Vibe, for getting a sponsorship from Men's Dove. But Men's Dove would never sponsor my husband.
Well, okay, so let me just,
because he's really on the
well, okay, let's put it this way. That's one part of the things I do.
Yes.
I will be full disclosure. I don't think Dove Men Plus Care would sponsor this. I don't think they would.
Yes, they won't sponsor this, right?
Right. So I do realize that. So but the thing, yeah, and as you're speaking here, Dr. Alicia, the concern is that many Black people are drinking the Kool-Aid and accepting these stereotypes.
Yes, they have.
That's where my concern is, that we're accepting these stereotypes, even though I think some of us know they're not right. We're drinking the Kool-Aid.
You're getting an Academy Award for this.
But not only that, though, those who are getting the camera, but then the general populace, the people who look like us, who accept that these are just commonplace.
Mm-hmm.
That's a concern.
Look at Haiti. Haiti, what's her name here? You know, she got an Academy Award for playing the mammy stereotype.
Mm-hmm. You know,
who got the Academy Award for playing the whore? It was Halle Berry.
You again, we're going to say that too. Halle Berry, yes.
You get the help. Didn't they get an Academy Award for playing these roles?
I think, was it? Yeah. I think so. So, yeah.
You're going to have something shiny in your hand and $1 million in your banking account.
Wow.
It don't come no other way.
Let me just see what we other. So then the other two. So LA Wade wanted to know the other. So there's the other one, the sapphire.
Yes. Ghetto, bitter, the angry Black woman. And I'm sorry, any compassionate person should allow Black women to be angry, because we got a lot of reasons to be angry. Right?
Go there, Dr. Alicia. Go there.
But right now in here, it's almost like you deserve to be abused because you're ghetto and you're less than. You're bitter. You're evil. It's that evil eye. There's no compassion in this stereotype.
Wow. Oh, good old Aunt Esther.
Aunt Esther. She played it well.
She did. And that's from, what's the series? What's her name? It was so long ago. I can't remember her name. Oh, I can't remember, but I know them, recognize them.
Oh yeah, we all know where these things come from. We don't even have to name it right now. But the thing is that these are the roles. So the whore stereotype, the mammy stereotype, and the sapphire or the angry Black woman. Those are the ones that we're going to get rewarded. You're going to be on the screen. And last but not least, It kind of blends together. It's the welfare queen / gold digger, somebody who all they care about is working the system and just materialistic and just out for money. They don't care about love. There's no love in these stereotypes, by the way. They're just materialistic. I'm going to get what I can get. I'm going to make sure I marry a certain man that looks a certain way and do all that stuff. That's what they are. And they get rewarded for this. All Black women in media have to go through these stereotypes. All of them. I don't know one that's exempt. Name one. I'll wait.
So let's do a refresh or reset right now. We are talking with since Boyce went to the Ohio State University, we're having an epic conversation with the Dr. Alicia Watkins about Black women, Black history, and then Black women, Black future. Now, LA Wade.
Real Housewives. Have you seen Real Housewives?
I've never watched it.
You gotta look at it. I've been watching Real Housewives of Potomac. I've been watching it, and it is disastrous how they treat each other, what they do with each other. It is embarrassing.
Then why do you watch it?
I just watch it just for data.
Good comeback.
I watch it for data. And you do get sucked into it. It's really kind of fascinating. But it's awful. That's not who these women are.
So LA Wade Media, I'm not going to answer this saying which one am I. I'm not going to answer that question. I don't know which one. I'm not going to answer that. It's Dr. Alicia's show, not my show. So I'm going to leave it there. But I'll think about it. Let's put it that way. So let me ask, with these current stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on a second. She goes, the war, the sapphire, and the intellect. I'm not sure. I let them think it.
What is that?
That the war, the sapphire, and the intellect. I'm not sure. I'll let them think it. Well, you let the people think whatever they want. All right. So I've got to then, what impact do these continuous stereotypes have on Black women? Not the ones that are acting, the ones like yourself, the ones like LA Media, Wade Media, the ones like the Love More. What impact does that have on you and your day-to-day lives?
Yeah, it's demoralizing. It's demoralizing. And even in my, I was talking to a colleague not too long ago, and she's a white woman, liberal.
What does that mean?
Right, exactly. Liberal, but still racist, right? And there's a lot of racist liberal women out there. I can name them all. I'm in social work, so it's a dominant, it's a very left wing sort of a profession, right? And so, but there's still racism in my profession. And so I was talking to her, and she was coming down on white men and patriarchy and talking all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't have no issues with men. I have no issues with men. I said, but I consider myself a feminist too. I have issues with all these white women giving me a hard time at my job.
Why are they
seeing me through these stereotypes?
White women are seeing you through these stereotypes?
Yes, I have. Yeah, and it was funny because I'm talking about from the time I entered higher education, because remember, I was born in Tuskegee and I was raised in Gary, Indiana.
Wow.
Okay. So I wasn't around white people until I went to college. So from the time I went to college, I entered into academia and worked jobs and did all sorts of things all the way up until now. We're talking 30 years, 30 years of employment and education. I can guarantee you, hands down, the people who have given me a hard time at my job, and I'm not talking all white women, but I'm talking about the people who have given me a hard time have been white women.
Why do you think that's so?
I don't know if I'm threatening to them. I have no idea what psychologically is happening to them. Now, I think this, they've gone through a lot. You know, their stereotypes. Think about the mammy stereotype is kind of wants to be needed by this fragile white woman that can't get it together, and I pat you up and make you feel better. So maybe they're dealing with that sort of inferiority thing. But I don't know. I think I'm a relatively intelligent Black woman. I think you could say. Maybe
Relatively, you
I
are.
guess you
No,
could
no,
say.
you're in my books. You're an intelligent Black woman. Don't say
But
relatively.
but
Don't sell
it's
yourself short.
but it's seen as a threat. And even in, I'll go from, I'm telling my story today because
Please do.
even in college, I worked in two labs. I worked in this lab run by this white guy, and I worked in a lab run by a white lady. She was a big time feminist. It was a domestic violence lab. So I get it. I get it. I totally get it. But she would get mad at me because I wore makeup. She wouldn't wear makeup. She looked just like Sam Kinison. Y'all know Sam Kinison?
Yeah, yeah.
She looked like Sam Kinison because she was anti-makeup. You know, a lot of these universities were infiltrated by a lot of white feminists who came in and started these I don't know, women's studies departments. This is the third wave of feminism, by the way. Women's studies departments and all of that. I never felt comfortable taking a women's studies course. I took it and then I would just like get out of it because I never quite felt comfortable. But I remember working for her lab. It was very hard. She was hard on me. But the white guy, white faculty, male faculty member, I worked in his lab. It was easygoing. He was kind to me. He was nice to me. I don't know. That's just my experience. I don't know if other people have had that. And I could say that even in my graduate experience and in my PhD program and even in my work life. Now, I'm not saying that all white women did this, but I'm saying if I ever had issues on the job, it was from a white woman. And it's funny because, you know, maybe they went through a whole lot in their own struggles, but I remember being the receiving end of a whole lot of stuff that I don't feel like I deserve to have had. So it's definitely, there's something there. And I just don't agree with a lot of the things that they are concerned with. Like, I'm interested in what's happening with Black people in the Black community. That's me as a woman, as a Black woman. I'm interested in that. And all that other stuff, it can go away. You know what I mean? The white men, I'm just not interested in that. I'm interested in the things that affect my community. That's it.
Wonderfully said. Wonderfully said. Catch up with some comments here. Jessica go Walton, Montreal in the house. All right. Um, LA Wade says, if I can't control how they see me, I will let them think what they want until I find a way to recreate the narrative.
We know who we are. Yeah, I
And
love
it's
that. We know who we are. And honestly, I'm not interested anymore in impressing anybody. I'm gonna be me. And if you
well,
want to see me through those narrow vision, that's your loss. I'm done. I'm not in business proving anything to any white person. I'm so out of that box right now. And I have lived in that box for longer than I needed to. Because it tears you down. It destroys your self-esteem. You feel like you're stupid. You feel like you're nobody. You feel like I can't get it right. You know, I'm like, God, did I really roll my eyes at this person? I've been accused of rolling my eyes at people, something I never do. You'd be surprised some of the things that I've been accused. I've been spied on, I've been talked about,
what?
I've been given. And you know what? Let me just tell you something. There was one time in my academic career where I felt seen and heard for who and what I am. And that was when I spent 5 months at the University of Guyana among other Black women who were brilliant, who could, if I brought them back from from Guyana to here, they would dance circles around these people because they were smart and intelligent, and it made me smarter, it made me more intelligent, it made me more capable. For the first time in my life, I was in an educational setting of higher learning where everybody looked like me and everybody was smart like me. It made me smarter and better. I miss that place. I miss those. I don't even like talking about it because I really do miss them. I don't even almost want to call them sometimes and talk to them because it makes me sad. It was harder for me to, you know how you go to another country and you live there and you integrate in there and it's difficult? No, I had a harder time coming back and adjusting than I did going to another continent. Not even another country, another continent, South America. I felt more at home and more loved and more seen and more validated and more understood in a different continent. This is a developing nation. I'll take dirt roads over anything. And I miss those ladies.
Stay in touch with them.
Makes me sad. I do. I need to call them because
Okay.
I talked them up now.
All right. Good stuff. So
anyway.
it's interesting. LA Wade Media and yourself has something in common because she was once in the university environment and it stressed her out.
Yes. Yes.
It stressed her like the way she was mistreated.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
In that environment. And so she has some more comments here saying
it's hostile. It's a hostile environment.
She says it's so much stress being bicultural, multicultural in the workplace because of the stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
But she's inviting you to Grenada.
Yeah, I'll come to Grenada. I'll go anywhere where there's just Black women and smart Black women and we can bond together and build together. I just miss it because I came back and I had a difficult time adjusting. Very difficult time adjusting.
Wow. Okay, let's move on. Continue on ours. No, this has been beautiful. This is so much what I needed and needed to hear today. But let's continue on now with the future of Black women.
Yeah, I mean,
and you bring up someone here.
Can somebody explain her to me? I need somebody to explain her to me. Like, she encompasses probably all of the stereotypes in one. So this is where we are. We get one image because we don't have time to devote 4 different stereotypes. We're going to get one image to represent all 4 of them. I mean, in a lot of ways, she's a whore stereotype, right? She's walking around. I mean, some of the stuff she does on TikTok is just ridiculous, right? She's the whore stereotype. She definitely represents the mammy. In a lot of ways, the sapphire and the overly materialistic. She represents all of them. So now we don't even need to have 4 women in the media doing this. We could just pick one and have them encounter all of the stereotypes of Black women. So this is where we are. Someone needs to explain why you're twerking with the flute.
Well, and for the people who don't know who it is or who are listening to the audio replay, Dr. Alicia talking about Lizzo. And are you more concerned about her or the control that's over her to portray what she is?
Listen, there is a lot of talent out there. Something's got to separate you from the rest. So you got to be willing to do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of talent. Have you been to LA? Have you been to LA, Dr.
I've never been, unfortunately.
There's so many beautiful people in Los Angeles. I'm filling up gas in my car and I'm like, good grief, all these people they look glamorous. They look like they could be movie stars. They're saturated with these. Something's got to separate you from that. Lord, here's my husband in here.
I'm
calling you out.
Oh, I'm not interrupting.
He's gone now, I guess.
All right, greetings, Dr. Boyce. Peace and blessings, my brother.
Hey, brother, what's going on?
Everything's going on. You good?
Oh, baby, right?
Doing great. Oh,
okay.
I got Lizzo on the screen. Oh, Lord. Y'all done traumatized me. Oh, the mammy, the whore, the sapphire, the welfare. Dang, you done went deep tonight, huh?
Well, you know.
Oh, my gosh.
She's going in tonight,
explain this.
She's going in, Dr. Boy. She's going in deep, man. She's going in.
You are so funny. Lord.
Well, let me in. I'm not going to interrupt. I'm not going to
No, you can if you want. You can if you want.
Well, I love your show, man, and I see you in the chat. You know, thanks for supporting my channel too, brother. I respect what you do.
I respect you back and thank you for what you have done, past, present, and future. I receive you 150%. Thank you.
Vice versa, brother. Vice versa. All right, well, I'll let y'all get back to your show.
Okay.
And
All
I
one
think
right.
that's
last
a
thing,
great topic.
one last thing, Dr. Boyce, you married up.
Yeah, I think I did. Right? I got lucky, right?
No, you were blessed, my brother. You ain't lucky. You were blessed.
Yes, I feel blessed. And thank you, brother, and bless you too, man. And have a
We
good
have
night.
absolutely keep the faith.
Same here. All right.
All right.
I'll
Take
put
care.
you
Well,
on.
I'll let her back to you in a few moments.
Like so.
All
Uh-huh.
right. All right. Beautiful. And LA Wade Media saying, you see the amalgamation of all the stereotypes. She's trying a thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she says, can we just be, or is it just for white or model minorities in Asia?
Can we just be like what? Okay.
I don't understand the last part, but it says, can we just be, or is it's just for the white or model
Yeah,
minorities in
I mean
Asia?
it is we it's very difficult to be seen for who and what we are in our entirety, right? It's very difficult to portray all of those things because think about it. Think about what happens if there's a rise of the Black woman. If we can restore this balance, and I'm talking about in the form of reparations, which I mean, come on, we've all that's a mute point. If we can somehow restore this balance, I think we can be seen for who and what we are. But I don't think, the powers that be, they're just not going to pass it to us and give it to us. We really have got to take it back on our own. And part of it is non-participation in these systems. But there's always going to be somebody in there that's going to be saying, I'll do it. I'll show up and do it. And let me tell you something, there's stereotypes of Black men too. And maybe that's not for me to talk about, but I'll just let
No, but we respect your lens, so maybe
yeah,
down the road we can do a conversation about
about
stereotypes of Black men. I
the
think it would only
stereotypes of
be
Black
fair,
men.
only be fair and justice, and maybe Dr. Boyce wants to join us on that one because I
That
know
would
he's
be really nice, yeah, to
okay.
talk about that because they have enough feminizing Black men. I mean, it is a threatening thing. It's all based on Willie Lynch, and
Yeah,
we could get into some of those things, but
I yeah.
that's what I
Well,
see out
if
that.
you know you have a home here, I'm gonna follow up with you on that for 100% for sure. So that is beautiful. Let's go to the future of Black women
Yeah, I
here.
really think. I mean, I think that the movement is there, and I don't want to say across the board these stereotypes are there, but it's an initiation. All Black women who are in the media have played and are playing one of these stereotypes, and I think that it it definitely demoralizes us, and I think that we really need to get back to loving the Black woman, honestly. We need to show empathy. We need to have emotional healing. We need to examine these negative stereotypes in the media by the institutional racism. It doesn't validate the experience of African American women and families. We need to show love. And because the original love is the love between a Black man and a Black woman. That's the original love. None of us would be here if there never was a love between a Black man and a Black woman. And so, I think some of it is getting back to a peaceful place where Black children are safe and can move around in our communities. I mean, this is terrible that we tolerate what's happening in the South Side of Chicago. Any urban or city area where there's the killing of children and Black people. I mean, all of us need to like really take that seriously. It's something that we should never ever tolerate at all. We need to take back our communities. We need to take back our empowerment economically. Like my husband, he just finished doing, is it Tuesday? So tomorrow night he's going to be doing Claude Anderson's books, right?
Yes,
And
the
we're talking
weekly
about that.
Wednesday nights. Yep.
Come
Yep.
on, that's a solution. Give back our economic power. I mean, I love that. I've read those books over and over again.
Well,
I mean,
it's interesting you say that because L.A. Wade was the last Black Canadian to do an interview with Dr. Claude Anderson a few years ago. She interviewed him, and no one, and that's And LA Wade put in the chat, how many years ago was that? And when she did that, I went, what? And no one else has interviewed him in Canada since. So that's rare air. Let me just, she has a question here. Let me just finish the screen share here. We're going to bring this on to here. And she goes, is the goal Pan-Africanism? This might be the fifth stereotype. What does it mean to be a Pan-African when there's so much diversity within Blackness?
Yeah, I think we need to celebrate the diversity within our Blackness and not make it as oppositional. I think we lose out. I mean, all of us, let me tell you, I have a really good colleague. He's from Nigeria. He's lived in Canada. And
yeah,
I'm just
you mentioned him. Yeah,
you're my cousin. We're attached at the hip. And actually, we wrote an article called Attached at the Hip. Like, you're my brother. We wrote an article together on that. You are my brother. And so we don't allow any of that sort of divisiveness, because that's Willie Lynch. Separate, to give divisiveness, separate and conquer. I mean, that is the oldest trick in the book, and it works. Just because we keep out the game, just because I did this talk about the stereotypes of Black women, people in media aren't going to say, uh-oh, we're foiled. They're not going to change their strategy. This strategy has been working, and they don't care if you talk about it or not. They're still going to use it because it's what works. So just because we're talking about, we need to be attached at the hip, we need to be unified, you know, as Black people, because we all came from the same place. We all have the same desires. We all have the same concerns. I'm concerned about what happens in the motherland. I really am. All in Canada, all of that, any place in this world where Black people or people of color or anybody is treated terribly, that's imbalance. To me, that's what feminism means. Feminism means to restore the balance of the male and female principles.
I love that definition. I love it. LA Wade Media says, yes, she interviewed Dr. Anderson back in 2019.
Okay.
20.
Very nice.
That long ago, LA? Wow. And I kudos her. She reached out. She said she called his home and his wife answered and made it happen.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't think that would happen today.
Well, he's a little down in that.
Yeah.
Down. His health has been,
exactly,
you know, an issue. Yeah, and Claude Anderson's wife is really beautiful. She got her PhD from Florida State too. They lived in Tallahassee for quite a while. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, what an epic conversation! What an epic conversation! What an epic masterclass! What an epic monster class! But you know what I'm going to do before we let you go? I'm going to put up all the different things that you have going on because it's so. And LA Wade Media says she is such a beautiful person.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I hopefully one day I would love both of you to meet, even if it's for 15 minutes offline, because she can relate to your experiences so much, because she spent a number of years working at the University of Toronto. And it was not okay. So on the back channel, we'll see if we can get that 15-minute conversation to happen, because I think it would be absolutely wonderful, because both of you could write an article attached at the hip. Black women attached at the hip.
Yes.
Maybe that's an article. So as always, I love to share what Dr. Alicia and Dr. Boyce are doing. So we're going to go through this stuff. So one of the things, and she may just want a high level talk what each one of these things are. So first of all, we have the secrets of a drama-free family, how people can come together and blend a healthy family. High level, what is this all about?
Oh, this is, it's funny because Boyce and I taught this class together, and we talked about like blending families together. What happens when you have and that's really the norm for a lot of Black families, right? Yep. Is to have, you know, adopted kids and to bring people in, and all of us have to be able to manage that. So it's a whole entire curriculum. We taught this class together. It was beautiful. He talks about parental alienation. You know, sometimes this happens in our community, and how to avoid parental alienation. Sometimes it's conscious, but sometimes it's unconscious. You do things or say things around about the other parent around your kids, and you don't know that you could be alienating them further. So we talked about, it was a beautiful class to talk. We talked about finances, we talked about rules, we talked about how to live together in harmony. So
Nice.
yeah, we talked
Excellent.
about that.
Okay,
Um,
let's put the next one up here. Got to give you full promo.
let's
Got
see
to
which
give you
one.
full promo. No problem. We have this one, the drama free. Oh, let me just see. Is this the drama free lifestyle workbook bundle? What's this about?
Yeah. So I have 3 workbooks now. I actually have a 4th one that Boyce and I just finished about love and money, and we
Yes.
just finished that one. But the 3 books in there is the drama free family. So with that course also comes exercises that you can purchase, a workbook that you can fill out. If you don't take the course on that, you can sit down with each other and fill out some of the workbooks so that you can kind of hammer out a lot of the expectations when it comes to blending families. Also, is the drama free marriage. This is about people making sure you have good expectations and facilitating the conversation through in this workbook about how do you want your marriage to look like. We spend so much time planning a wedding, but you don't spend any time or any money planning for your marriage. But the wedding I want to plan and go all out with, but I don't want to work on my marriage. So it's all about making your marriage great, and definitely drama-free conversations. It's about how do you talk to each other and communicate with each other. What exercises can you go through with each other to try to learn each other better? Because conversation is how you connect with your partner. It's through discussions. It's nonverbal behavior. It's being able to get to know each other better in the midst of conflict. So, that's what the conversations are about.
All right. Next up, let's bring up the next little thing we're going to talk about. Now, I'll give you the full promo. Let's see. Do we have anything else? Workbook. Here's another one.
Let's see, what's the other one?
Secrets of the Drama Free Family, how people come together and blend a healthy family.
Okay, so that's that course I taught with Boyce.
Okay.
Drama Free Family. Yes, that's the course I taught. Well, there's also another one. So Boyce created the financial therapy department at the Black Business School.
Yes, tell people about that. That is very unique.
Yeah, and so we work together on that, and every other Sunday we get together and we'll talk about different topics. I'll take questions from the chat and comments and address comments, but we talk about everything financial anxiety, your financial personality. We talk about trauma related to finances and how you can heal from that. We also speak about
well, one time I saw you put out a snippet out live about financial infidelity.
Yeah, so that was our last conversation we had about financial infidelity, what it looks like, what it is, how many of us are doing it. A lot of us are doing it. And why can't you be transparent with your partner about finances? What is that about? Why aren't you having it, or is it too uncomfortable that you can't have these conversations with them? You should be open and honest with your partner, because how are you supposed to know each other? How are you going to have intimacy? Not being open and honest, that gets in the way of intimacy. And you can come to me for couples coaching. I also have 2 people that work with me on my team. And so they take a lot of individual people that I work with. Sometimes I'll take individual people, but I usually give it off to 2 other colleagues. The one from Nigeria who's from Canada. He specializes in trauma. And then I also have my mentor. She's also takes clients. And I've been doing this 20 years. She's been doing it 40. And she mentors me. So she takes a lot of clients and stuff. And she's phenomenal. She's retired. So I had to pull her out of retirement and have her do this work for me. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I'm also going to put up if you go to one site, you'll get access to you'll get more information and all this. So if you go to, this is Dr. Alicia's page on Linktree. So if you go link.tree/Dr. Alicia, you'll get information on all this stuff. You just have to click on
Interesting.
any.
Okay.
You get click and get all, and then also I also want to put up I don't want to put that up. And then actually, yeah, am I gonna put it up? Well, first things first, I'm gonna say she also is on Instagram.
Yeah, that's the best way to get a hold of me, honestly. And I do most of my posts. I put on Coaching with Dr. Alicia on Instagram. That's how, if you want to follow me or,
Yeah.
figure
Well,
out what I'm
thank you.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I enjoyed when you were going to your retreat and you did shopping for a notebook in that store.
That's right. I bought that notebook. I still have it with me here. Where is it? Yeah, I still have that notebook. I got to grab it. It's in my bag over here. Yeah.
All right.
I still use it.
Excellent. So before we let you go, some final comments from the family here. Okay, first off, Ryan Knight says, "Woot woot, Mrs. Watkins is back in the building." LA Wade Media goes, "Dr. Watkins, thank you so much for being here and sharing your gifts."
Appreciate it.
And then Cher says, Dr. Watkins, again, I've learned so much from you. Great conversation. And yeah, LA Wade Media, I'm going to do my best to make you two definitely have to have a conversation. Just like Dunn, she goes, I'm good at the blended family thing.
I mean, blended, it used to be like back in the 70s, it was an issue, but blended families are just as healthy as intact families now. That's what the data is telling us. So it's not as much of a taboo as it used to be. It's kind of a beautiful thing because you can't help it sometimes. You're not determined by your past. There are things you can do to overcome. And I hope that's something that everybody can kind of take away, that just because these things have happened to you doesn't mean it has to determine your future. It doesn't have to be determined by your past. You can make it into something, something meaningful for you. It's not the end of the world. I have hope.
Well, you give us lots of hope. Lots of hope. Do you have any final words for our family before we let you go?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Black people, what we need to do is give each other a sacred space. Allow each other to give each other a sacred space so that you can show up authentically and feel safe. You can lower your guard and start talking about who you are, and just connect with that. And I think as Black people, we need to create that for each other. There's so much negativity online. And I think that we need to just decide that we're going to remove ourselves from that, and we're going to give each other a sacred space for compassion for each other.
Oh, and Henri Morris, who's been a long time family member of the Dr. Vibes, came in at the tail end, was watching on LinkedIn, many layers, breaking the stereotypes and being our authentic self. So that's actually a nice promo starting back on Thursday, many, many years ago when I first started this, we did something at the end of each month called Dr. Vibes Allies, where we had Black men from Canada, the US, and England live.
Yes.
Chatting about things. So we're going to be restarting it this Thursday, and we'll start going back to the end of each month. So again, that's why you need to follow the Dr. Vibe show. So we'll get Black men from 2 continents, 3 countries. And the gentleman in England, when we finish, it's 4 a.m. in the morning when we finish, but he is there every time we do this conversation.
That's beautiful.
So absolutely wonderful. Dr. Alicia, as always, thank you for taking the time out of your personal life, your professional life. Thank you for continuing to be a shining light.
Well, I appreciate you bringing me back on. This is
you've got a home here.
It was an honor.
you know that I'm going to be reaching out to say, what do you want to talk about next? And also, you may want to know, we are going to start having on a regular basis Dr. George Fraser on too.
I love George Fraser. He's everywhere.
Yes.
You're not slowing down, are you, George?
He is not. And actually, he said something. We had him on my Monday morning show a few weeks ago. And he said he found out through research that the 3 most productive times in our life are basically decades. I don't know if you've heard him say this. You've heard him say this. That I've shared that with so many people. Like, it's a light bulb. Like, basically your most productive years of your life, research-wise, are from when you're 50 to when you're 80.
Yeah. Isn't that something? Because you got the confidence at 50.
you've gone through all the stuff, you learned all stuff, and then putting it to use. So that is fantastic. So again, Dr. Alicia, thank you so much. Anytime we can help you, please don't be afraid to reach out. I know you're going to be back with us soon again, and I definitely will get in touch with your manager.
Okay.
Because I know some people are interested, have asked me. I'm not her agent. I'm not. I'm just a guy who hosts Epic Conversation, but we'll find out.
Well, you know how to get a hold of me, and you know how to.
Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you for allowing me to do that. I don't take it for granted. So definitely we'll be in touch probably by tomorrow, and I'll certainly see when you and myself and LA can get together, because I'm going to just sit back and enjoy that conversation.
Okay.
It's going to be so powerful. So remember to give yourself grace, and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Have a great evening. Take care. Now that was epic. I needed that, family, big time. That was phenomenal. That was a masterclass. So I'm going to make a suggestion. Watch the replay or listen to the replay. It was epic. So before we jump out, again, if you want to find out more about Dr. Alicia, there she is on Instagram, Coaching with Dr. Alicia. We got one more comment here. Let me just see. LA Wade, great show. Well, all of you helped it be a great show, whether you watch it live on the replay. So let's get to some things just to close it up. If you want to promote your business or service on the show, contact me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Also, you can watch replays of this show at YouTube, the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Dr. Vibe Show website, the drvibeshow.com. I want to say a huge shout out to Dr. Boyce, because I have to share something in true honesty here. And I don't like the word transparency. I like to use honesty, open, make it simple. The first conversation we did with Dr. Alicia, Dr. Boyce shared it on all his YouTube platforms. I'm truly humbled about that, because I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of people I have on and they don't share it on their platforms. And I didn't ask Dr. Boyce or Dr. Alicia to do that. They did it. So I am truly humbled because of that. So, and one last thing, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. If you subscribe on YouTube, also hit the subscribe button, like it on Facebook, wherever you're watching this. Please, please, please subscribe to the show, because we only can get better with your support and your suggestions. So as we close off, this is it. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace. And again, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. We'll see you soon. God bless. Peace and well. Keep the faith. And to Henri, knuckle up and buckle up. We'll see you soon, brother.
Listen.